it seems clear that at least some measure of self-reflection shows up in animals, right? Like I had Dr. Pena Guzman on, and he did a lot of work in animals dreaming, which is a really fascinating way to kind of chip away at that empirical study. And like it seems very clear that octopi dream, which is kind of blows my mind, honestly. The idea that they're changing colors in the way that like they would when they're hunting, and they're like moving their arms, while they're sleeping, which is just that area from like it seems that's an empirical question, and then that is study that's going on right now, and it's fascinating. So I'm glad you mentioned that. The dream one especially really gets me. It's even, and you kind of mentioned this, and I just recently read Origin, but I know he took it from Aristotle on what the soul is. And of course, since Descartes, the soul has become this like substance, right? And so, but to find it even in early Christianity, but also in Aristotle as like defined as the perception and motion, right? And so it's really, is that kind of what you were referencing earlier, or does that fit in with what you were referencing earlier of like this recovery of Aristotle?
That would be part of it. Yeah, the point, I mean, historically, yeah, Aristotle had this idea of the soul, of like psyche, as he said, which is very large, and it's the extension of soul is life. I mean, it's the principle of life. So, of course, for him, yeah, I mean, some animals they perceive, they may imagine things. He doesn't really enter into this modern discussion about do they have concepts or not. That's not at all his kind of Aristotelian kind of psychology. But, well, actually, with Descartes, the soul becomes the principle of thought, and then there is thought and matter, and he has very sophisticated arguments to say that there are only those two kinds of being possible. So either you are thought, and then you are humans, or you are, I mean, if you are not, you are only matter, extension, he says. And you are the object of physics, mathematical physics. And yes, for Aristotle, anything that's alive has a soul, like us. And what's for him, like proper to humans, it's what he called the nous. So what we could translate as the mind. And there is a funny, an interesting thing that the nous is, he talks about it in the treatise on generation. So where he talks about what we call the epigenetical embryogenesis of animals. And at some point he says so the souls, you have three souls, the perceptive soul, the vegetative, perceptive, locomotive soul, and they emerge one on the other, because if a plant, it has only a vegetative soul. Let's say a dog, it has all the three souls. And the question is, the nous, the mind in humans, where does it come from? And Aristotle, I mean, he really doesn't know, and I feel he doesn't really care. So he says it comes from the door, so it's turatein in Greek. And but then the Christian theologists.
I'm sorry. Did you say from the door?
Through the door, yeah.
Through the door.
That's a Greek word that says yes. Through the door, and then the let's say medieval.
What does he mean by that? I'm sorry. Yeah. Go ahead.
I don't know. I mean, come on.
Okay, it makes me feel
like 10, 20 centuries of commentators, and they're trying to get it. What does he say? And I have a very deflationist feeling that he just doesn't know. And he said, well, okay, I have to say something, but we don't know. So of course, if you are, for example, Aquinas, you would say, yeah, it's good at some point, in the development of the embryo, infuses the embryo with the capacity of the mind. I mean, and then this discussion later on connected with all the question about the development of the egg, and so. But yeah, for at least for Aristotle, yeah, the humans, they have the mind, and the mind is the capacity of reflection, abstract reasoning, and then knowledge, science, yeah. However, I don't think that right now empirically we know what mind is, and if it's there is a great book by philosopher Peter Godfrey-Smith which is called Other Minds, and it's a book about actually octopus and cephalopods, and it's called Other Minds because from an evolutionary viewpoint they are really really very different octopus. So
Yeah.
I mean nobody would object to gorillas having a mind and being thinking. They are very close, but octopus. But still, their behavior is like it makes sense that they have something like a mind. But they are very. I mean, we diverge from the branch, the phylum that produced the octopus. I think something like 600 million years ago. And so he says somewhere, like if you want to think of what is an alien mind, well, this is the closest thing I can show you that's an octopus. So the question is it a mind? Is it not a mind? So then what do you refer to when you say a mind? So is it only, cognitive? Does it has some, I guess there is it includes the capacity for some purposes. Yeah. And, but then it opens a lot of questions because the capacity for purposes for someone like Kant, it goes with freedom, and freedom is exactly what sets us apart from the rest of the world, and others with what he calls the dignity, and then you have all those moral consequences he draws, and that has a really important impact. But yeah.